Good evening, everybody. My name is Michael Loftus. I'm Vice President for External Affairs for MTU on the Cork campus. Delighted to welcome you this evening to this MTU CAO Information Evening. We have a great schedule for you this evening, a great agenda. We're going to talk about, we've Dan Collins talking about student services and supports at MTU. We have colleagues talking about the Student Universal Support Ireland Scheme, SUSIE. Accommodation discussion and presentation from Deirdre Falvey, our Accommodation Officer. Sports in MTU. We have Miriam DC in the Cork campus, Jennifer Healy in the Kerry campus. Societies in MTU, Aoife Kelleher Cork campus, Kevin Ross in the Kerry campus. So we have a full agenda. We're not talking specifically about courses tonight. We're talking more about the services and facilities that are available to you from MTU. With me this evening, I have the my counterpart in the Kerry campus, Breed McGilligan. I'll ask Breed now to say a few words of welcome to you also before we kick off with the student services presentation.
Thank you very much, Michael. And on behalf of all of us in MTU, we're delighted to see so many people joining us this evening at our MTU CAO information session. As most of you probably know, MTU came into being on the 1st of January last, but as Ireland's newest university, it is standing on the very firm foundations laid by Cork Institute of Technology and IT Tralee over many years. Over the course of this evening's presentation, you'll hear more about the university, but just at the very outset, we're 6 campuses across Cork and Kerry with over 18,000 learners, 140 courses and programs with a team of over 2,000 dedicated and committed colleagues who are there to develop and support the learners through their education journey. Like Michael, very much hope that you find this evening's session interesting and informative, and that it will help you as you take your first steps into third level. And for the parents who are able to join us here this evening, that it will reassure you that MTU will support your son or your daughter on their third level journey. This year has been a challenging year for all of us, but it has really been inspiring to see how our staff and students rise to the challenge and learn and adapt together. Across the MTU, one of the things that we always take pride in is the relationships that we build and foster between students and staff, where we work together to make sure that everyone who walks through our doors in September will reach their full potential educationally and, equally importantly, personally. And through the clubs and societies that you'll hear about this evening, rest assured you will make lifelong friends and experience some of the most enjoyable aspects of third level. As Michael mentioned, while this evening's focus is around the supports available across the university, we'd also like to remind you that over the next number of weeks and months, there will be a series of events across the MTU where you will get the opportunity to learn more about the university. And next week in the Kerry campus, if you're interested in some of the programs that we offer, there's a series of virtual open evenings running from Monday through to Thursday of next week. We have an awful lot to talk about tonight. So I'm going to hand you back to Michael. Again, on behalf of all of the team in the MTU, thank you very much for joining us this evening. And I do hope that you find this session of benefit.
Thank you very much, Breed. As we go through the evening, if any of our listeners have questions or queries or points they want to raise, please enter those in chat and we'll do the best we can to answer them this evening. If we can't manage it this evening, we will get back to you with a response in due course. So we'll kick off now with the student services and supports at MTU, and I'll ask Dr. Dan Collins, Academic Administration and Student Affairs Manager in the Cork campus, to take us through that for about 15 minutes.
Good Marcus and Michal, August Breed, and a very good evening to each and every one of you. I'm just getting my presentation set up here. Great to see you all online this evening. And like both Michal and Breed said, a warm welcome to you all this evening. I'm addressing very quickly student services and support. They have given me 15 minutes and I promise you I will finish in my time allotted. But in particular, I would like to welcome prospective students once again who join us this evening. Great to have you here. But I also like to welcome your parents, your guardians, and other people who have interest. In particular, I know that our good friends, guidance counsellors, are also joining us this evening. A warm Céad Míle Fáilte to each and every one of you. As you're probably aware, at the university, as an MTU student, we will have a range of student services and supports which will be available to you throughout your duration as a student among us. And I think our mantra at this stage is student wellness and student well-being are key to all of us who serve on the staff of the university. As you say, we have 6 campuses in the Southwest region, and all of us, no matter what campus we work in or what campus we're assigned to, we really do stress the importance of the well-being and wellness of our students on the campus itself. There are many resources and people who work in student services, and as I say, they are already there to support you. And can I stress even now, even before you begin your journey with us as a student, that you do please take advantage of everything that we offer on campus. Because by doing that, you will achieve both your personal and your academic potential. And I'm delighted that colleagues from student services will have an opportunity of sharing their specific services with you later on in this presentation. I also need to say that as a community, we strive to create a community which is open and which is compassionate, and where diversity is expected and indeed respected. And we would assure you of that we are a very diverse university. We do respect that diversity, but we also welcome the prospective students to get as involved as you may wish in our university community. Can I just focus a little bit on some of the services and supports that we offer at the university? And I'm just going to go through them very, very quickly, cognizant, of course, that you may be aware of these, but I'd like you to be aware that these are here and my colleagues are waiting to welcome you on our campus. We have the Access and Disability Service, and many of you may have availed of various services through your secondary school, to your colleges of further education. If you're a mature student, you may have availed of various services throughout your journey of life so far. But can I just say to you that our Access and Disability Service are there to support you in whatever way they can during your academic journey. They're also responsible, for example, for the Student Assistance Fund. And Deirdre, my colleague in accommodation, might say a little bit more about the Student Assistance Fund when she's giving her presentation, because in our Cork campus, that rests very much with Deirdre. Where we have a fund where students can actually apply for extra resources to support them financially during their academic journey among us. You will hear our friends from SUSIE speaking about SUSIE, but this is a top-up that we can give you for those of you maybe who are on the SUSIE, and those of you who are not availing of SUSIE can avail of our Student Assistance Fund. We have medical services on our main campus in Bishopstown and on our campus in Kerry. And again, we have doctors, nurses, and other medical practitioners who are available to meet with you and support you as students of the university. We have a counselling service, which is a very busy service, as you can imagine at the moment, particularly in the last 12 months. They've always been busy, but particularly the last 12 months, they have been particularly busy with the demands of mental health issues of students. It's a confidential service, and we are delighted to see more and more students availing of counselling on our various campuses. And I think many of them appreciate the confidentiality nature of that. Accommodation, which Deirdre, my colleague, will cover later on. We have careers. Again, delighted that we have guidance counsellors on board today, but also our career advisors on the third level campuses are there to support you, whatever queries you may have about your course and about your career. We also have a chaplaincy and pastoral care teams on both campuses. And again, they are there to support students who may wish to knock on their doors and avail of the services which they offer. A lot of times our chaplaincy and our pastoral care colleagues go about their work very quietly, yet they're there to support whenever you need that. Student well-being and wellness, as I say at MTU, we endeavour to create a culture that also supports healthy choice. And we want to empower you as a student of the university to actively engage in looking after your own health and well-being. And to support us there, we have a very active sports community and very active sports office and clubs. And Miriam and Jennifer will speak to you about that later on this evening again. And they'll also be joined to speak about societies with Aoife and Kevin. Between our sports and societies, we have well over 100 clubs and societies. Every type of sport and every type of society you can think of happens there. And even if there's something we've never thought about, maybe you'd like to start something, you knock on the doors of Jennifer, Miriam and their colleagues, or Kevin and Aoife and their colleagues, and they'll support you in the setting up of a new society. We also have campus liaison to a number of our off campuses. We have people who are there and available to support students in some of the off campuses as well, and to link them with student services. And finally, but by no means the very, very least, we have a very active students union on both our campuses. Students who are elected by you and by students of the university to speak on their behalf. They sit on some of the key groups that we have and some of the key decision-making bodies that we have at the university, but they always speak with the voice of the student. And they always welcome engagement with any student of the university. And indeed, I'd ask you again to tap into and avail of those supports. So I suppose from student services and a student-centric type philosophy, which we have at the university, it would actually pain me if I thought that any student would leave our campus any evening saying to themselves, there was nobody there that I could speak to. We have a huge amount of supports, so please do tap into them once you come into the university. And not just support services and affairs, we also have great supports when it comes to the world of academia. We have academic learning centres, we have academic coaches who journey with you. They're all there, but they do wait for you to tap on their door and to ask for those guidance. But even if you forget all of this evening, I would just say, knock on any one of our doors and we will definitely point you in the right direction in that regard of student affairs. And as I always say, I'm going to write a book, when I retire, and I hope I don't offend anybody here now, about Irish mothers and their sons. Because what we all find in student affairs, we get a lot of queries from mums regarding their sons. A lot of the daughters seem to find their way around campus. And I only say that as a little bit in jest, because sometimes people don't ask us directly and they might come to us indirectly through their school, through their guidance counselor, through parents, and that's okay too. We would have a preference that you, as a student of the university, that you yourself would knock on our door, and I guarantee you we'll make you welcome. And I can guarantee you that. Now, in the last remaining 6 minutes that I have, I am going to move on very quickly about the CAO and about the world of academia here. And as you're probably aware at this stage, and you don't need me to bring this to your attention this evening possibly, that the closing date for applications on the CAO is on May 1st. That's in 1 week's time. So for those of you who may be thinking of making a late application to the university here, you still have another 1 week to do that. The Change of Mind facility will open on May 5th, and I know your guidance counsellors would have stressed that already to you, but you might just please keep that in mind again, that the Change of Mind facility is open on May 5th. And the Change of Mind will close then on July 1st. Round A offers, and that is for those of you who are mature students, and we're looking forward to welcoming you, our mature students, onto the campus, because you are very much the backbone of our community here. We'll be making offers to you roughly in mid-July. And round 0 offers again for those of you who are coming from colleges of further education, and still some of you who are wearing the mature student hat will be making round 0 offers in early August. And of course, round 1 offers are to be confirmed. As you know, we're still waiting for an official date in the release of the leaving certificate, be it the exam results or the predictive grades. We're hearing at the moment, and this is just hearing at the moment, that it will be in August, but it may be towards the end of August. But as soon as we have a date from the State Exams Commission, the CAO will get ready and they're ready to go to make first round offers. And can I also say to you that when you're using the Change of Mind facility, could I ask you please to use all the slots, both on the level 8 and on the level 7-6? Because again, I'd be a very rich man at this stage if I could just, people saying to me, I should have put that course in level 7. I'd only focused on level 8. I forgot about level 7. So if you're doing, for example, mechanical engineering and you put down level 8, why not put it down at level 7? You give yourself a double chance, and if you qualify for both, we'll offer you both, and you make a decision at that stage. Can I also say that MTU also offers you, our prospective students, a second chance to sit the higher or the ordinary level maths paper. So for example, if maths don't go the way you would like to go, we will offer you an opportunity to sit both a higher and an ordinary level maths. And again, I have August, September there, because once we know when results are released, we will announce the date for that exam, both on our Cork and on our Kerry campuses. So we will let you know when that's happening. Please just keep an eye out for that and avail of that. And last year, 60% of the students who applied to do this actually got the maths grade they needed. You can't use it for points, but you can use it to meet the minimum entry requirements for maths into the university. We also have small class sizes, and I say that with tongue in cheek because small class sizes allow students to be nurtured and monitored, but it allows students to get to know friends. They always say in university, be careful who you sit next to on day one, because they will become your best friend. So choose wisely when you're into the university in September. There's great flexibility, of course, within courses, and the ladder progression and specialization options are also another great, I think, option that we have here at the university. And there's also many common entry courses available to several disciplines. I'm sure your guidance counselors have spoken to you about that. And very quickly, the academic structure, at the MTU, and I say this particularly for new prospective students and also for your families and guardians and parents who join us today. A full-time course is divided in 2 equal parts called semesters. And each semester is of a 15-week duration. And then each of those then have 6 modules where they're assessed either through examination, through assessment, or a little bit of both. Can I just say to you, it is actually 12 weeks you have of each semester. So get the head down from day one. Of course, get involved in the clubs and the societies and the extracurricular activity. Also, get the head down from day one and get into the course, and your staff will guide you there from day one in that regard. We have examinations usually December or January, May, and August. And again, one other thing I always say to prospective students, and particularly to your families who are listening this evening, we also have what we call extenuating circumstances. So if for some reason you have to take a day off or a week off, please do leave your course coordinator know. They very much appreciate hearing that. Number one, they'll check in to see are you okay. And number two, they can take a note of that when it comes to your end of semester exams. And very quickly, and almost there, the ladder of progression at MTU, we have a 2-year, which is a higher level at 6, bachelor's, which is a level 7, honors degree at level 8, and an integrated master's at level 9. It's a wonderful thing about the ladder, as I say about the panel of the CEO 7-6. Do your 2 years, 3 years there, and transfer then into your level 8, onwards to your level 9. And do you know what? We'd love to see you do your PhD with us at the university itself. So we'll never let you go once you come in that regard. So in conclusion, I'd like to say a fáilte this evening. We hope to see you on campus in September. None of us, of course, can predict what September will look like, but we are, as a university, endeavoring to do our very, very best to have as much interaction on campus as possible in September. So in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your evening. On behalf of all of us associated with Student Affairs, we will welcome you on board. And please, and finally, knock on our doors, because once you knock, we'll make you welcome and we will look after you as a member of our community. So thank you all, and thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks very much, Dan. Really great presentation there, certainly hitting all the key points. Rock solid advice to fill out both CAO lists from top to bottom. I get students every year coming to my front door asking me, is there anything I can do for them because they didn't get their level 8 and they didn't fill out the level 6, 7, and they end up with no option. So fill both lists. Moving quickly along, we now have a presentation on SUSIE, the Student Universal Support Ireland scheme, from Brenda and Dave from SUSIE. So as soon as that's ready to go, Philip, we'll push the go button on it and we'll take questions through chat. Thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Brenda and now work in the Communications and Customer Services section in SUSIE. This video presentation is to give you an overview of the SUSIE eligibility criteria and the grant application process. So who are SUSIE and what do we do? SUSIE is Ireland's single awarding authority for student funding in further and higher education, and there are two different types of funding available: a student contribution or fee grant and a maintenance grant. We administer this funding in line with government legislation, including the annual student grant scheme. The scheme for academic year 2021-22 will be available in spring 2021, and the information shared in today's presentation is based on the current scheme and is subject to change. So why should you apply? If you apply to SUSIE and are deemed eligible for a grant, you may receive assistance towards a student contribution charge of €3,000, which you'll pay directly to the college on your behalf, and also a maintenance grant, which is assistance towards your day-to-day living expenses and is paid directly to the student's nominated bank account. Types of courses that SUSIE fund range from further education level 5 courses all the way up to level 10 postgraduate courses, and there are different types of funding available at each level. For further education or PLC courses, the funding available is a maintenance grant only. For higher education undergrad courses, the funding available is both a maintenance grant and a fee grant or student contribution grant. For students studying at an undergrad level outside the state but within the EU or UK, a maintenance grant only is available. And we also provide funding for postgraduate courses within Ireland, and there are two different types of postgrad awards: the ordinary rate, which is a contribution towards your fees, and special rate, which is a fee grant and a maintenance grant. SUSIE is currently awaiting further information from the Department of Further and Higher Education, Research, Innovation and Science in relation to the announcements made in Budget 2021. So just to recap on the types of funding available at each level. For PLC level 5 or 6 courses undertaken at approved PLC centres in the state, we don't pay the fee element of these courses, but maintenance grants are available. For undergraduate level 6, 7 or 8 courses undertaken at approved institutions in the state, both a fee grant and a maintenance grant is available. For undergraduate level 6, 7 or 8 courses undertaken at approved institutions in another EU member state or the UK, a fee grant isn't available, but a maintenance grant is. For postgraduate level 8, 9 or 10 courses undertaken at approved institutions in the state and 4 approved institutions in Northern Ireland, which are the University of Ulster, Queen's University, St Mary's College of Education and Stranmillis College, both a fee grant and a maintenance grant is available. But as I said previously, the maintenance grant is only available for those who qualify for the special rated grant. Further details on the eligible courses in Northern Ireland is available on our website, and SUSIE is currently awaiting further information from the In order to be eligible for any funding from SUSIE, every applicant must meet all of our 5 key eligibility criteria, which are as follows: nationality, residency, progression, attending an approved course in an approved college, and the reckonable income for 2020 must be under the maximum thresholds. I'll now explain a little bit more about each of the criteria. So the first one we look at is nationality. In order to be eligible, applicants must be either an Irish, EU, EEA, UK or Swiss national, or specific leave to remain in the state as granted by the Department of Justice and Equality. Further information on the eligible permissions to remain can be found in the nationality section of our website. The next one we're going to look at is residency, and this will determine the type of funding an applicant is eligible for. All applicants must have ordinarily been resident in Ireland, the EU, the EEA, the UK or Switzerland for 3 of the last 5 years. If resident in Ireland for 3 of the last 5 years, they're known as a student and may be eligible for the fee grant and a maintenance grant. But if they're resident outside of Ireland and within the EU, EEA, UK or Switzerland for 3 of the last 5 years, they're known as a tuition student and they're only eligible for a fee grant. They're not eligible for a maintenance grant. The next one we're going to look at is progression. All applicants must be progressing in their education to be eligible for funding, and by that we mean increasing their National Framework of Qualifications or NFQ level. If you have a qualification, we can only fund you for a course at a higher level than this, irrespective of where and when you received it or whether you had previous grant funding for that course. Approved colleges and approved courses. Applicants must be attending an approved full-time course in an approved institution to be eligible for funding. Details of all our approved courses and colleges is available on our website. And now we're going to look at reckonable income for 2020. In order to be eligible for funding, an applicant's reckonable income must fall under specific thresholds, and this income will be a factor in determining what type of funding an applicant may receive. Further information on all of our income thresholds and grant award rates is available in the income section of our website. Applications are assessed with regard to gross household income from the previous year. So for the 2021-22 academic year, we'll be assessing on income from the 1st of January to the 31st December 2020. However, it is important to note that if the income has reduced in 2021, we can reassess on the current income. So if this applies to you, just be sure to advise us of this when making your application. Where the household income for 2020 is under €54,240 for a family with less than 4 children, under €59,595 for a family with 4 to 7 children, and under €64,700 for a family with 8 or more children, you may be eligible for grant funding from SUSIE. When applying for SUSIE funding, it's important that an applicant chooses the correct class to be assessed as. There are 2 different categories of class: dependent, including mature dependent, and independent. And why is this relevant or important? Because it determines whose income is counted when calculating the reckonable income. So I'll just go into a little bit more detail about the different categories of class. So a dependent student is somebody who is under 23 on the 1st of January in their year of first entry into further higher education. They'll be assessed with reference to their own income and that of their parents or legal guardians. A mature dependent applicant is somebody who is 23 or over on the 1st of January of their year of entry or re-entry into further higher education, but was living with their parents or guardians in the October prior to this, and they will also be assessed with reference to their own income and that of their parents. To be assessed as an independent student, an applicant must be 23 or over on the 1st of January of their year of entry or re-entry into further higher education and be living independently from their parents from the October prior to this. They will be assessed with reference to their own income and that of their spouse or cohabitant. And it's important to note that your class is defined at your first point of entry to further or higher education, and you can only be reclassified when you're moving from further to higher education or after a full 3-year break in studies. When an applicant is awarded a maintenance grant, the actual level of grant they receive depends on which threshold they fall under and the distance from their home to their college. If the distance is under 45 kilometres, they are awarded the adjacent rate of grant, and if the distance is 45 kilometres or over, they are awarded the non-adjacent rate of grant. If you want to check and see how we've calculated the distance from your home to your college, you can log into your application at any time and click on the My Distance button. I mentioned the special rate of grant there earlier on, and now I'm just going to go into a little bit more detail about exactly what that is and who qualifies. Essentially, what the special rate of grant is a top-up on the ordinary rate of maintenance grant, but to be eligible for special rate, you must meet certain criteria as follows. The total household income for 2020 must be less than €24,500, and on the 31st December 2020, include income from an eligible long-term Department of Employment Affairs and Social Protection payment. There's a list of all the eligible payments on our website. And the rates of special rate are as follows. For somebody whose distance was calculated to be under 45 kilometres, the total amount is €2,375, and that's payable in 9 monthly instalments of €263.89. For somebody whose distance has calculated to be over 45 kilometres, the total is €5,915, which is payable at €657.22 a month. So here's just a list of things that we advise everybody to do. Step 1, check out our eligibility reckoner. This is an online tool that gives you an indication as to whether you're eligible for funding or not. Step 2, register your account. You'll get a username, a password and a PIN. Make sure to keep these details safe as you'll need them to access your online account. Step 3, complete your application. You don't have to do this all in one go. You can pause it at any time and come back to it where you left off. And step 4, submit your application online. Once you do this, you should receive a confirmation email from us within 24 hours. And if you don't receive this email, contact our support desk and they'll be more than happy to help you. So when you're making an application, you're going to need the following details. The PPSN for the applicant, PPSN for parties to the application. So for dependent students, that will be their parents or legal guardians. And for an independent student, it would be their spouse and cohabitant. Your CAO or your UCAS registration number. Don't forget when you're completing your CAO form to tick the optional box that says share details with SUSIE. 2020 income details, so just an estimate of your income for 2020. Your course details. You don't have to have accepted a course to make an application to SUSIE. You can change your course details at any time. Your AIR code. This enables to accurately calculate the distance from your home to your college and award you the correct rate of grant. And once you have all those, you can click Start Application and off you go. So you've completed your application, submitted it online. What happens next? Your application will then go for provisional assessment where it's reviewed by one of the assessment team. Once that's been completed, you'll either be awarded and you'll receive an award letter advising of the rate you've been awarded and the course we've awarded you to. Or if you don't meet one or more of our eligibility criteria, your application will be refused. You'll receive a letter advising of the reasons why. Or you may also be issued a checklist letter requesting supporting documents. If documents are requested from you, be sure to return them within the timeframe stipulated on the checklist letter. If there's going to be any delay in submitting them, just let us know by calling or emailing the support desk. Once you submit the requested documents, your application then goes for review assessment. The documents will be reviewed by a member of the assessment team and you'll either be awarded and advised of the rate awarded and the course you've been awarded to, or refused and advised of the reason why. Or you may also be issued another checklist letter requesting additional supporting documents. And as previously, if documents are requested from you, make sure you send them in within the timeframe stipulated. So here's some important tips for you. Use the eligibility reckoner on the SUSIE website to check your potential eligibility. Tick the SUSIE option on your CAO form. Apply early. We'll open for the 2021-22 academic year in spring 21. And our priority closing date will be in July 21. Include details of relevant persons on your application. So if you have a sibling or a parent who is also attending a course in the 2021-22 academic year, this may result in you receiving an approved rate of grant. You can track your application's progress at any time on the online tracker in your account. And return any requested documents complete and on time. If anybody in the household is self-assessed, if possible, file your tax returns early in 2021, as we won't be able to finalise your application until we see you've done this. So just to finish up, here's some details about how you can keep in touch with us here in SUSIE. Our website, www.susie.ie, has a wealth of information on all the eligibility criteria, and there's also some very informative videos there. And you can contact us through the following channels: via email at support@susie.ie, through social media at Facebook and Twitter, and also with our telephone help desk at 076 1087 874. I hope you found this video informative and helpful, and wish you all the best in your studies for the forthcoming academic year. Thanks for watching.
Thanks very much to our colleagues in SUSIE for a very comprehensive and informative presentation. Thanks to Brenda for the presentation, and Dave, who's dealing with queries on the chat. We now move on to the topic of accommodation, and I'll request my colleague Deirdre Falvey, our Accommodation Officer here in MTU, to present to you for about the next 10 minutes or so.
Thank you, Michael, and good evening, everyone, and thank you for tuning in this evening. My name is Deirdre Falvey, and I'm the Accommodation Officer for the MTU, and I'm based in the Cork campus. My role really is to help students to find the perfect home away from home that you'll be happy and comfortable in, and your parents will be happy and comfortable as well, which is also very important as well. And just to remember that you will be in this accommodation for 9 months, if not, it could be the full duration, it could be 4 years, depending if you like the accommodation you've chosen. So the first thing to do as a parent or as a student is to log on to the MTU website. We'll have a Cork section and a Tralee section that you can go into and have a look. While it's important to note at this stage that we don't have any campus accommodation, we have a huge amount of accommodation available to us, really good choices and very good prices. And we kind of have 3 main ones that students would look into. The first one would be our purpose-built student accommodation, which is available on both campuses, in Kerry and in Cork. And you would need to contact these student departments directly They have usually really good websites. You can go in and have a look. They might even have a tour, and you can go in and have a look and have a chat to them. And they have their own management companies, so you can go in and have a chat, and they'll do their best to, you know, to look after you. And we would have very good relationships built with them over the years. So with this type of accommodation, you'd be looking at payment either usually 2 times a year, like once semester 1, once semester 2, or in some cases now there could be 3 to 4 times a year. And in some cases now recently, they're even looking at considering monthly payments, which is really good for parents and for students. They'd be the first one. And to book these type of accommodations at the moment, they would require a booking fee. And usually a certain portion of this booking fee would be refundable if you don't get your place, or if you decide to move to a different college or to a different, whether it's Cork or Kerry. So there are plenty of options there. So that would be the first one. They could be anything from 2 rooms in an apartment up to 5, 4, and they're usually ensuite rooms. So students would have their own bit of, you know, peace and quiet, and their own little bit of, you know, the little bit of privacy, which is really good. They're a very, very good option, really, and we hugely recommend them for our first year students. So that's the first one. Anything really there would have to be discussed directly with the student departments, but as I say, we have a good relationship with them, so we're always at the end of an email or the end of a phone to have a chat to you if there's anything you're not sure about and you want to have a chat about them. So the second option then would be our shared houses, which is, you know, sharing with other students, and these would be private landlords. And we would have a list in both campuses, and these lists are updated regularly, and you can obtain these lists by email or by giving us a quick call, and we'll send it out to you. And again, you have to contact them directly. Payment usually here would be monthly or weekly, and they usually would require a month's deposit just to secure the place. Again, you know, this type of accommodation would usually be very, very, I suppose, aimed towards our kind of 3rd, 4th year students if possible, because they've kind of built up a rapport with other students. They have a, you know, group of buddies that they prefer to go into a house with, whereas the first year might prefer to, you know, go into the purpose-built accommodations that there's a little bit more security, and parents have a little bit, you know, I suppose they're looked after kind of better, really. And if you're a young first year, you might prefer that type of option. And the third option then would be our digs, living with the owner occupier. I have a lot of parents actually email me and say, that's what I did 30 years ago. Maybe my son or daughter might like to do this too. So it's still there. It's still quite popular, especially with our international students. And it could be living with a family or living with the owner occupier. It could be, you know, a lady in her 30s that has a couple of rooms in her home that she's happy to rent to a couple of students. And it can work out really, really well. We've had people that have stayed in these type of accommodations for the full duration of their course. So, and again, in this accommodation type, it's usually weekly or monthly. And again, we have a very good list in both campuses, and they're updated regularly. So you could email us for either of those. With those, it's usually a deposit of 2 weeks, maybe a week, depending on the provider. And again, you know, it's updated regularly, so you can contact us anytime for that one. So I suppose just another thing just to note at the moment is we don't know what way things are going to go. As Dan said earlier, we hope that we'll all be back on campus in September, and we'll do our best to facilitate that for all students. But, you know, at the moment, I would still recommend that students would put on a deposit somewhere to have an option. And with the apartments, you don't need to pay the full amount up front. It's a deposit, the same with the houses and with the digs and with the living with the owner occupier. You know, you can make a decision then in August to what you decide to do. And then if you want to come back to us then, and we'll have the timetable available to you at the end of the summer. So we'll have a little bit more information for you. But I suppose the key here really is to keep in contact, communicate with us regularly, and we will do our best to give you as much information as we possibly can. Also, I suppose it's just important to note as well, when you are looking at houses or the digs or living with the owner occupier, it's very important that you get as much information as you can and go with the colleges what we have in file, because we do have relationships with these people built up over long periods of time, and we are aware of what's available for students, and you know, we do our best to make sure that they're of the best quality. So, you know, just be careful when you're going on, you know, in newspapers or Daft or anything like that, any of these websites that are available. Just make sure that you have, you know, your homework done beforehand and that you're aware before you hand over any deposits or anything like that. But I just say again, I'm always at the end of a phone or at the end of an email, as is my counterpart in Tralee, if you wish to give us an email or if you have any queries. Now, just to finish up, as Dan said earlier, we do also have a student assistance fund, which is open to students in the Cork and Kerry campus. And this is really for students who are at a certain disadvantage and who need some help financially. They can also be in receipt of the full SUSIE grant, and they could still get the Student Assistance Fund as well. This is administered through the Access Office in both campuses. And you know, we have a lot of students each year, and it's very beneficial to our students, and you know, it works out really, really well. And sometimes, you know, these are the things that people don't ask for. Ask the question. It's an online application form. We'll have a look at it. We'll see what we can do for you. And look, you know, it's worth applying for if you feel it's something that you feel you need a little bit of support. My email, our own email for the Cork campus is accommodation@cit.ie, and in Tralee it's accommodation@ittralee.ie. Everything is on our website, and if you have any queries or anything at all, if we can do anything to help, we're only at the end of an email or of a phone. And we wish you the best of luck, and it's very important to get the best accommodation you can, and we're here to help. So thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Deirdre. Very comprehensive presentation there. Deirdre has certainly advised all our listeners to pay very close attention in relation to what accommodation they book and how. Very good advice, particularly for first years coming into the system in higher education. First year is the year in which most students are lost to the system, and accommodation can be a key part in that. A good quality accommodation, a good place to study, someplace you're comfortable, safe and secure. Pay a lot of attention to the wise words Deirdre has provided there, and you won't go far wrong. We'll move on now to sports in MTU, and we're going to have a presentation from Miriam DC from the Cork campus and Jennifer Healy from the Kerry campus on this topic. MTU has a lot to offer under the sports heading. Miriam and Jennifer, over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Michael. Good evening, everybody. As mentioned, my name is Miriam, and I'm part of the sports department team on the Cork campus. A small team, but I'd like to think we pack a big punch. We all know college life is about study, but it's also about growing up. It's about enjoying new experiences, and it's about self-discovery. I want to assure you tonight that if you want to continue in sport, if you want to reconnect with sport after the Leaving Cert, if you want to try a new sport, or if you want to use our sports facilities to continue to develop and improve yourself, then MTU Cork will give you that opportunity. We have a broad spectrum of clubs, from indoor to outdoor, to field, to water sports, to martial arts. We have all the traditional sports, plus the opportunity to try sport you may never have done before. The full list is available on our MTU website. We work on the basis of sport for all. And yes, we compete in a large range of sporting events over the course of the year, but we also run a number of recreational events throughout the year, from step challenges to fun run, to weekly fitness classes like yoga, Pilates, boot camps, to name but a few. I would encourage you to join a club, as your student experience will be greatly enhanced. It's a great way to meet people and highly enjoyable. I heard someone say recently, once you have a sport, you are never socially lonely. You have a passport for life. That is indeed very true of college sport. Many have graduated from us with their degrees and parchments, but also some have left us as world champions, having entered as complete beginners. If you are looking for a well-rounded education with a positive and inclusive student experience, then MTU Cork is for you. Many of you may have already competed or attended sporting events on our campus. Our top class facilities are located on campus and include an indoor and outdoor track, a sports hall, 3 gyms, an excellent main gym, which is free of charge to our students, an elite gym for club trainings and our scholarship students, and our Melbourne gym for academic and popular clubs such as our powerlifting club. We have an AstroTurf, which proves very popular for recreational games with classmates. We have a cross-country track, 8 grass pitches, a new arena, which is well under construction, all easily accessible on campus. For students competing at a high level or an elite level, we offer sports scholarships. This current academic year, we awarded 92 scholarships across 19 different sports. Please note that you have to have secured a place on an academic course before applying. Our application forms for the scholarships will be available on our website from August, and you have plenty of time to apply as our closing date is the start of October. They range in value from €500 for first years to €1,500 for senior students. That's a snapshot of MTU Cork Sports. I wish you the best of luck in your Leaving Cert, and I look forward to seeing at least some of you in the MTU colours in the not too distant future. And I now happily hand you over to my colleague Jennifer and Trudy. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam, and welcome to everyone also. I'll give you a brief overview of sports in MTU Kerry. Miriam has covered a lot of what sport has to offer, especially at third level, and I would also re-emphasize that it is so important to get involved in a sport or in a club during your time at third level. Here in MTU Kerry, we would have about 30 different clubs registered, something for everyone, we hope. Again, like on our Cork campus, we would have sports at all your outdoor, your main sports, your indoor sports like badminton and basketball, martial arts, and also water sports and outdoor pursuits. I think we're very lucky with our coastal location here in Kerry and the fabulous mountains, and which is just so popular for our hill walking and our surfing and sailing and so on when it comes to our water sports. So as we say, there's something for everyone. We would encourage all students to get involved in our clubs and in our sports. It's a fantastic way of settling into college, especially for those of you who aren't from the area or who don't know anyone on campus. You get to meet new people and have different and new experiences. So it is definitely a wonderful way of settling into college, especially in first year. And what we find is that our students who do get involved in first year usually take part for their 3 or 4 years, 5 years, however long they're with us. As I say, most of our clubs are free to join and free to participate in. And you will find out about it at the start of the academic year. We usually would have a sign-up day where you get a chance to meet the committees of our clubs. And also, I suppose you can do it online as well. We have an online portal that we will be launching this September as well. So you'll be able to sign up online. But we do encourage students to come along to our sign-up days because that's where you get to meet the students and the committees and to get an idea in person as to what's involved in the club and to find out your training times and anything else that you might need to know. Miriam already touched on it, but starting in college is a new experience. And that's why we would often find that students will look to take up a new sport. So even though, as I said, we have 30 registered clubs, we cater for everyone. And we also have a policy of sport for all. A lot of time when people hear about sports or the clubs, they say, that's not for me, I'm not sporty. I hate that term, not sporty, because I think there is a sport or an activity for everyone. And I think Dan just mentioned it earlier about just ask. And that's why we would encourage you to come along to our clubs day, ask the question, see what's for you, and try out something new, especially when you come to college for the first time. It can be daunting, but there are so many of you in the same situation that we just say, get involved, find something that suits you and try something new. And as you said, as Miriam mentioned, maybe you'll be winning medals and championships in that new sport in time to come. And like on our Cork campus, we would also have very competitive sports teams that compete at the highest level in varsity sport as well. So whatever you're at, whether it's just looking for physical activity, for competitive sport, there will definitely be something for you on our Kerry campus and on our Cork campus also. The facilities, most of our clubs are based on campus, which is great. For those that are based indoors, it will be in our Kerry Sports Academy. It is a new facility, a world-class facility that has been developed in the last number of years and opened. And I would encourage you to go on the Kerry Sports Academy website to check it out. We're really delighted with it. We have 3 indoor basketball courts, hydrotherapy pool. We would have 2 gyms. You'd have a high performance gym and also a regular gym with fitness testing suites, massage suites. And that's where most of our clubs are based. We also would have outdoor facilities and a floodlit all-weather pitch and a floodlit GA pitch. So all our sports, where possible, will take place on campus. We would also run buses from the student accommodation to the North Campus, where our facilities are based, to students can, I suppose, avail of the facilities and get to their sports and their clubs when they're on. We would encourage everyone, I suppose, to get involved, as we said, but also to just ask the questions about when and where, and make sure that you're familiar with the campus. And I always think the best way of doing that is research before you come. Check out our websites, check out our social media, and you'll get an awful lot of information from them, from those sites, and at least you'll know where to direct your questions then when you come on campus. Miriam mentioned sports scholarships, and we would operate maybe just a little differently in Tralee. We would also offer sports scholarships, but our scholarship application is closed at the moment. But when students register, there will be other opportunities. So our main scholarship program, the applications are closed, but there will be other opportunities when students register in September as well. Please, our social media accounts would be, just to look for our sports office, would be MTU Kerry Sports Office, and our GA officer also, we have a full-time GA officer in the college, and he would run his MTU Kerry Campus GA office Facebook pages. So you'll find a lot of information there as well that you might need. Again, I'm not going to go into much more information with you because I know you're getting a lot of information here tonight. Just follow us on our social media pages, check out our websites and ask the questions. And we would hope that we would see all our students who register with us in September involved in some way. At the opening of this evening's webinar, Breed McGilligan mentioned lifelong friends. And I think all of us that have been involved in sport and in Cork and Kerry know that is so true. The friends and the people that you meet during your time in college and through sport will stay with you for the rest of your lives. So I would like to, I suppose, take this opportunity to wish you the very best of luck, and we look forward to seeing you in September. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Miriam and Jennifer. Some fantastic information there. Two key points, I suppose. MTU has world-class facilities in Cork and Kerry, and sport is for all. There's an activity there for everybody. It's a great way to get to know people, a great way to connect, and indeed it's a great way to build the life skills and the professional skills you'll need in the world of work in terms of teamwork, good communication, working together for common purpose, and so on. So thanks, Miriam and Jennifer, for that information. Really, really useful and relevant. We now move on to societies in MTU. We have Aoife Kelleher from Cork and Kevin Ross from the Kerry campus, who are going to take us through what our societies cover. Over to you, Aoife and Kevin.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much, Michael. And thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Aoife Kelleher. I'm the Societies Officer in MTU Cork. And I would encourage you to get the most out of your university experience and to get involved in societies also. We know that taking the leap to third level is a whole new social experience. And especially when you might be joining a course where you're not sure if you'll know anybody, or perhaps you might be thinking that you mightn't know anyone else at all in MTU. So it's really important for us that you get lots and lots of opportunities to meet friends, and through clubs and societies can be a great, great way to do this. So student society groups across MTU are encouraged and supported, and they bring great energy and excitement to our student experience. Societies are student groups that have a shared interest or goal. So I've shared with you in the chat the latest MTU Cork societies that have been active this year. And as you'll see, that there are 5 main categories of student societies. So sometimes people ask me, what is a society? So really the core of it is the shared interest. But the great thing about it is that the list can be endless, because really it's all about whatever you are interested in, or whatever a group of students are interested within MTU. So all societies that apply, that we will categorize them in under one of these categories. But as you can see from the list, there's a whole vast opportunity of them to get involved with. I want to share with you 3 things that are absolutely great about societies. First of all is that they're free to join, which is fantastic. So anything, once you're a student and it's free, is always a good thing. So that's your first lesson of university that you found out from us today. The societies as well are student run. So it's a student committee that run each of the society groups, a chairperson, a secretary, and a treasurer. which is great because it means that you're talking to other people that will be your peers. They'll be from other courses, from other years. You get an opportunity to meet them. And you get to come together as a group to decide what the society can get involved with. There's no prior experience and required for joining any society or getting involved in it. The main thing is just your enthusiasm and an open mind to listen and to learn, to share things with your peers. And setting up a new society, we're always open to ideas of possibilities. What I find is third level and universities can really be at the cutting edge of trends and things that are happening culturally in the world and in Ireland. So there can be really exciting spaces to get involved with. Being involved in a student committee as well is a great way. So you can be a member, which is somebody who just goes along to events, or being involved in a student committee and organizing can be something great for your CV as well. So keep that in mind if the opportunity comes up at the AGM or the elections. I'd like to share with you from a student's perspective. So I have a video here from a student, Georgia O'Gorman, and she's involved in the Comedy Society. So let's just hear a little bit of what Georgia has to say.
Hi, my name is Georgia. I'm a second year student in Creative Digital Media and I'm part of Comedy Society. This year I've taken on the role of chairperson of Comedy Society. I got involved because I had an interest in stand-up comedy and I wanted to meet other students who were interested too. My favourite part about Comedy Society was definitely the weekly open mic events that we held. Watching other people perform stand-up comedy, of course, always really funny, great crack. The audience interactions were always hilarious, and it was just a great way to unwind at the end of like a stressful week at college. What the society has done for me is given me more confidence. I don't get stage fright anymore. It motivated me to work on material so I'd have something new to perform every week and partake in the events. It gave me more confidence in general, meeting people, speaking to people. I made loads of friends through the societies, even meeting people who were involved with other societies through the society events and when we collabed with them. I had a fantastic experience in Comedy Soc in my first year, and I will try my very best to give that same fantastic experience to the incoming first years.
Well, thank you, Georgia. And for this year, societies adapted really well. So I want to kind of give you a sense that there's a huge community that welcoming you to MTU, and are really excited that you might be a student on our campuses next semester. So over this year, we had online events completely, but that didn't stop us. So there was 30 active societies. They ran over 375 activities and events, meetings, workshops, guest speakers, the quiz nights, but they had some great games nights. They had some Discord communities where each of them were able to interact. So that worked really, really well this year. And we had over 188 committee officers that were involved in organizing those things. So before I hand you over to Kevin, I just have one more video to show you, just to kind of give you a sense of what activity online was like this year, and this is the Anime and Manga Society.
Hi, I'm Owen, chairperson of Anime and Manga. This year was definitely challenging, but I think we made the most of it. If I had to pick one event to be my favorite, it would have to be the Anime Trivia Night. We had a great turnout and there was a lot of enthusiasm.
Hi, I'm Sophia, the treasurer. One of the best events of this year was the art competition. It was a great opportunity to show all the artistic talent in the society. And the online format made it very easy to show all the art pieces, especially the digital ones.
Great, thanks very much, Owen and Sophia.
Hi.
And now, that's from the MTU Cork campus. I'd like to welcome my colleague, Kevin Ross, and to share some more exciting stories from MTU Kerry.
Hi everyone, my own name is Kevin Ross. I am the Societies Officer at Munster Technological University in Kerry campus. Just to give you an idea, that's our campus there on the screen. So MTU we're better together, and there's going to be a lot more benefits for us to grow off each other, to learn from each other, and to make the Societies program in both campuses excel even further. So Aoife was down to us in Tralee, and we showed her around, and I was up in Cork, as you'll see in the picture there, and on the left was actually in Tralee. And so it's all about teamwork, you know, and when it comes to the societies, you'll see there on the screen about there are possibly our most popular societies on campus. Well, when I say on campus, we're now online, but at the Kerry campus. So St. Vincent de Paul, it's the Volunteering Society. And then you have the Radio Society, which we call Bang FM. And recently, very good news, we have put a mast on the roof, and we've got a license, a go-ahead to do 30-day radio transmitting. So we'll be on the FM, and any student that takes part in societies or in the actual course will have access to this, which is a great addition. The Spark Society is our Mental Health Awareness Society. They actually won an award at BICS, which is the Board of Irish College of Societies. It's where I'll talk about it soon, but it's where all societies come together from all around the country and compete. And then we have the Enterprise Society, and you'll see here on the next slide. This is how we created the committee, and this is how we started it up. We're online now, so we have to make do with what we have. Normally, if it was on campus, we'd all be inside in a room. We'd order pizzas in. We'll show you that soon. But yeah, so the Enterprise Society, we have an amazing, and just like the Rubicon down in MTU in Cork, we have the Tom Crean Centre here in Tralee, which is an enterprise hub. Great opportunities for anyone that has a business idea or wants to get into that area. And so yeah, there are meetings that I was talking about, pizzas, just sitting down, chillaxing, having some fun, you know, and it's just about making friends. You'll see it here, you know, a big part of societies is networking, and you'll just make friends when you're in the groups, whether it be you're a committee member or you're just a part of the society. Committee member being a chairperson, secretary, treasurer, or PRO. So public relations officer does all the marketing, and the treasurer does all the accounting. Secretary keeps the minutes and organizes the emails, and the treasurer makes the decisions with everyone else. So yeah, like you have Spark there on the left. Spark did just a random pop-up event in the hallway, spreading cheer, spreading good vibes. You know, there was they gave everyone like a piece of paper, and it was like a nice quote, you know, to put a smile on people's face. And on the right there, we had the Mocker Society. That's when they started up. That's their committee. So yeah, you know, we're really looking forward to getting back on campus. At the moment, it's still online, but you know, we're making the most of it. And as I spoke about the competitions, BICS, so it's where nearly all colleges in Ireland come together with their societies, and they compete, whether it be Best New Society, Best Individual, Best Improved Society, Best Event. There's loads of different categories, and we went there, and that's just a picture of us there. That's all the group we bought from Kerry. And it is a fantastic event, and it's another place where you make friends that, you know, you might only be there for 2 days, but you feel like you know them forever. Yeah, so look, together, societies with MTU Kerry and MTU Cork is going to benefit greatly. And I do feel no matter if you do choose to come to MTU, you will be well in good hands in the lines of societies. So look, thank you very, very much. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Hi.
Thanks very much indeed, Aoife and Kevin there, for a great tour through what the societies have to offer across MTU. That brings us to the end of the event. I wish to thank Breed, Dan, Brenda, Dave, Deirdre, Miriam, Jennifer, Aoife and Kevin for their great contributions this evening. I want to thank Mervyn, Philip and King Chi for organising everything in the background. A recording of this event will be available on www.mtu.ie/CAO and will be posted shortly after this event. Thanks to everyone for joining. Feel free to get onto us at any stage to any of the email addresses we've provided, so that if you have any further questions in relation to student services and supports, SUSIE, accommodation, sports or societies. So on that note, we close the event. Thanks to everybody for joining. Take care.